Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you're a dedicated Washington Commanders supporter, you know that this offseason has been anything but ordinary. The NFL landscape is always shifting, but what's happening right now in the NFC East is particularly intriguing, especially when it comes to the Commanders' defense. The focus, as always, is on that unit that's supposed to be the backbone of this team, specifically that pass rush. And let me tell you, there's a lot to unpack here, especially when it comes to Daron Payne, the man who's been expected to step up and be a dominant force on that defensive line. The question now is, can he deliver? And more importantly, what does his future look like in Washington? You see, last season was a bit of a roller coaster for Payne. After an incredible 2022 where he racked up 5 sacks and earned a well-deserved Pro Bowl selection, expectations skyrocketed. Fans were dreaming of that same level of dominance, thinking, hey, he's just entering his prime. This guy can be a game-changer every single week. But then, reality set in. In the following 2 seasons, his production has fallen off a cliff. He's managed to tally just 8 sacks combined over those 2 years. That's a big drop compared to what he was able to do in that breakout season. And for a guy who's supposed to anchor that defensive line, that's not just a statistical issue, it's a message that he needs to find his edge again. Now, ESPN's John Keim made a really interesting point recently, and I think it's worth highlighting here. He said, Washington needs more from Payne this season, and I couldn't agree more. It's not just about sacks. It's about the impact he can make on the game, on the pass rush, on disrupting the quarterback's rhythm. If you look at his previous seasons, Payne was a force, winning 96 pass rush battles from 2020 to 2022 with an impressive win rate of 11.6%. That means he was getting pressure, creating chaos in the backfield and forcing quarterbacks to make mistakes. That's the kind of player the Commanders need, especially when you consider what's at stake this season. But here's the thing, things aren't looking so great right now. Over the past 2 seasons, Payne has just 39 pass rush wins, and his win rate has dropped to 7.6%. That's a significant decline. It's not just a matter of a few missed tackles or a couple of quiet games. It's a pattern that signals that he's not quite the disruptive force he was in 2022. And the question is, why? Is it a matter of scheme, injuries, confidence? Whatever the reason, the fact remains that Payne needs to elevate his game if the Commanders are to reach their goals this year. And let's not forget, Payne isn't in a contract year anymore. He's in a pivotal season, but he's not playing for a new deal right now. That's a double-edged sword because, on one hand, there's less pressure to perform for a big payday. On the other hand, the team might be considering cutting him next offseason to save a hefty $16 million in cap space. That's right, if he doesn't show the kind of dominance and consistency that the team needs, he could be on the chopping block, and that's no exaggeration. The Commanders are in a bit of a tricky situation with cap management, and Payne's future could very well hinge on his performance this season. Now, for the Commanders, this is more than just about Payne. It's about the entire defensive front. You look at players like Dorrance Armstrong, who's been solid as a pass rusher, and Javon Kinlaw, who was brought in to add size and disruption. But these guys need to be more than just rotational pieces. They need to be difference makers. The defense, under coordinator Joe Witt Jr., has shown flashes of brilliance, but consistency is key. Last season, the team managed just 4 sacks in 17 games from Payne, which simply isn't enough when you're aiming for a deep playoff run or a Super Bowl. For Washington, the defensive line is the foundation, and the pass rush is the engine that drives the entire unit. The NFC East is no longer just a division full of mediocre teams. The Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants all made significant moves this offseason, and they're hungry for success. The Eagles, for example, are coming off an NFC Championship appearance, and the Cowboys have been building a formidable defense of their own. The Giants, while not quite there yet, are also improving. So, the Commanders need to step up, and that begins with players like Darren Payne. If he wants to avoid being a cap casualty next year, he's got to show up on Sundays and produce at a Pro Bowl level. The pressure is on, and the fans are watching closely. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. Washington's defense has always been a key part of their identity. Remember those dominant defenses from the 1980s and early 2000s? They thrived on a relentless pass rush and a stout run defense. That's the blueprint for success again, especially in the modern NFL where passing is king. If Payne, along with Armstrong and Kinlaw, can create consistent pressure, it could be the difference between a playoff appearance and an early exit. And to do that, Payne needs to rediscover that edge, that hunger that made him a star in 2022. The coaching staff has been emphasizing the importance of leadership and accountability this offseason. They want Payne to be more than just a space eater on the line. They need him to be a disruptor, someone who commands double teams and frees up others to make plays. It's a tall order, but it's exactly what's needed if Washington wants to compete at the highest level. The entire defense is counting on him, and the window for the Commanders to make a real Super Bowl push isn't open forever. This season could be the defining one for Payne's career, whether he cements his legacy as a franchise cornerstone or becomes just another player who couldn't reach his full potential. And let's not forget, the NFC East is a brutal division. Every game counts, and every player's performance is magnified. The Commanders, under new leadership and with a roster full of promising talent, are looking to climb the ranks. But it all starts with that front seven, that relentless pass rush that can turn games around in a flash. If Payne can rediscover his 2022 form, if he can become that disruptive force again, it could propel Washington deep into the postseason. Conversely, if he stumbles, the division could get even tougher, and the team's chances of a Super Bowl run might diminish significantly. So this season, for Payne, it's about more than just individual stats. It's about proving to himself, to his teammates, and to the fans that he's still that dominant force that can change the course of a game with one snap. It's about stepping up when the team needs him most, especially in those crucial moments where a game can be won or lost based on that next big sack or that game-changing pressure. The pressure is real, but that's what makes it exciting, because we all know the talent is there. It's just a matter of whether Payne can find that extra gear and bring it every single week in 2024. And as fans, we're all eager to see how this story unfolds. Will Payne bounce back and remind everyone why he was considered one of the top defensive tackles in the league? Or will he struggle to stay consistent, leaving the door open for other players to step in and take that mantle? One thing's for sure, this season will be pivotal and the entire NFC East will be watching closely. The Commanders are no longer just a team trying to find their identity, they're a team with Super Bowl aspirations, and everything hinges on that defensive line, especially Darren Payne's performance. Now, as we look ahead to the upcoming season, all eyes are on the Commanders and their quest for defensive dominance. They've built a roster with talent, but talent alone isn't enough. It's about execution, leadership, and that relentless desire to be the best. Payne has the chance to be that guy again, the one who makes quarterbacks think twice before throwing that ball, who disrupts plays and energizes the entire defense. And if he can do that consistently, Washington's chances of making a deep playoff run will skyrocket. So fans, stay tuned, because this story is far from over. The season is just around the corner, and the stakes have never been higher for Darren Payne and the Washington Commanders. Will he rise to the occasion? Will he reclaim his spot among the league's elite defensive tackles? Only time will tell, but you can bet we'll be here every step of the way, bringing you the latest updates, analysis, and inside stories from the heart of the NFC East. This is a team that's hungry, motivated, and ready to make some noise. And Payne's journey this season could very well define their destiny. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on the current state of Darren Payne and the defensive line? Do you think he's going to bounce back and have that Pro Bowl caliber season we all hoped for? Or are you a bit skeptical, thinking he might struggle again? Drop your thoughts, predictions, and any insights in the comments below. Your opinions matter so much to us and to the team. Remember, the season's just beginning, and every opinion, every prediction adds to the excitement. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and all the latest news from the Washington Commanders. So stay tuned, keep the passion alive, and let's make this season one to remember. Go Commanders!